Y'all hear me now? Yo, 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 yo. Ah, of course, it goes on my other screen, son. This freaking TV. I got you. I got you. You said no sound. I got you. Can y'all hear me now? Yo, yo, yo. Salute. We good? All right. Hold up. Let me see. Because it went onto my other screen. Apologies for that. Yo, salute to everybody in the chat, man. God bless, man. New York Knicks versus the Pacers. The first time since last year meeting up in the playoffs and the first time in the ECF since 1999. The Knicks obviously have a crap load of bad blood going back to the 90s. Had 2013 matchup, second round, where they beat us with Roy Hibbert. But today's a new day, man. I don't like last year. I know they beat us in 7, but there's so many caveats to that, man. The Knicks were not healthy whatsoever. Even with the healthy OG and Anunoby, and obviously Brunson staying healthy, we absolutely mollywop. We beat the Pacers to me. I thought that OG and Anunoby, just his impact on both sides of the floor. So I got so much to talk about. I got my notes here. Yeah, I apologize for anybody. Hold up. Anybody who is a Pacers fan, man, God bless you, bro. But it's just different, man. Life is different. Like the Knicks versus Pacers. The Knicks have had the toughest road out of any team in the playoffs. The toughest road in the playoffs, bro. You played a Detroit Pistons team where everybody not named Cade put up probably some of their best career performances in the playoffs. Some of their best career performances. Cade even shoot that well against it. That's crazy. Cade even have a great series. Mr. Chris Canty talking about Cade. I've tried the first game, and I don't mean I'm not trying to issue on Chris Canty's voice. I'm just mocking you because you're a big dude. Pause. He's the best player in the. Come on, dogs. Come on, dogs. How many times does Jalen Brunson have to prove to you guys that he is him? How many times? How many times? Get into the Celtics series. And this before Tatum got hurt. Tatum was putting up stinkers, bro. Tatum was having a great series until the last game. Unfortunately, got hurt. But people didn't even consider Jalen Brunson being the best player. Now Jalen Brunson is the best remaining player in the league, in the playoffs. And yeah, thank you, Donald Cannon. Everybody sitting up here talking about your man. Sorry, everybody sitting up here now they want to be Knicks fans. Excuse me. Everybody wants to join the bandwagon. And let me say something, man. All the stuff that's happening to the Pacers fan, even though he's an idiot for doing that, and I think you did that to be viral. You got a lot of New York Knicks fans who ain't true New York Knicks fans. Because let me say something. The old heads, Knicks fans. If an old head tells me I'm a Knicks fan, I believe it. Some of y'all younger dudes, bro, like, cause I got a nephew who's 20 years old. And I asked him years ago, yo, are there a lot of y'all young kids is not Knicks fans. A lot of y'all are fans of players. Kyrie, KD, Curry, all those guys. Y'all more fans of individual players. And then the teams out winning. Because whatever it is, I'm not trying to issue y'all parents, but they didn't teach y'all how to stay with y'all team because you from that area. That you from this block, you cheer for the team on this block, no matter how bad they are. I'm not saying it never happened with our generation. It did, but not to this extent. A lot of y'all kids, especially in New York, y'all were not Knicks fans. Now y'all coming out, y'all thrashing things, y'all mess up. Bro, that's not us, bro. We better than that. Y'all hitting dudes, y'all fighting dudes. Y'all not fighting these dudes one-on-one. That's some real PUSSY type ish. So anybody who's down with that, I'm not down with that. Unless somebody's fighting you, spitting in your face, doing something real treacherous, that's different. But a lot of y'all kids is not even Knicks fans. Y'all just riding the bandwagon. Y'all just looking for a viral moment. Some of y'all kids are going to get arrested. Some of y'all people that don't think y'all going to get arrested from y'all climbing up, y'all taking pictures. Idiots. The cops take pictures of this stuff. So if you get in trouble down the line, they could build up a case against you. And I'm not talking about some federal, obviously it's not federal. I'm talking about state, city stuff. That's how the city acts. Oh, we'll keep, if you don't do anything else, they might keep it on the back burner. But if you start doing stupid stuff down the line, they'll say, yeah, he has a history, has a pattern to do. So keep climbing up these damn billboards. Keep incriminating yourselves. I could tell y'all not real Knicks fans. Real Knicks fans are just trying to salvage the moment. Like, yo, bro, I did not ever think I would see the Knicks back in the ECF. Son, like, I know people already did it. I'm not trying to go viral for this. Everybody's already said it. Everybody's already did the whole I was there since. But some of y'all dudes don't even know what y'all talking about. I seen one dude, salute to him. He has a channel. I forget his name now. Not Fred Katz. I can't remember who it was. Altman? He was like, I remember back in the day when Zachary Randolph, when we had a whole bunch of guys who were past their prime, like Zachary Randolph wasn't even in his prime when he was with the Knicks. He was literally coming into his prime with the Knicks. I wish the Knicks could have kept Zachary Randolph. I love Zachary Randolph's game. They try the same thing with Marbury. Marbury was just a head case, but in terms of productive, Marbury's still one of the best guards in the league. So it was all here. He wasn't coming out of his. He was just off. So I don't know. Everybody should make the viral moment. At this point, look, man, it is what it is. I'm trying to plan something for Friday at Legends again. So if you're in the New York City area, man, let me know. I've already gathered a few people to come out. It's gonna be a holiday. People are gonna be drunk. People probably gonna be high as well too. So come out, enjoy the game, man. It's gonna be extremely fun on Friday. Pacers at home, so New York is gonna be on fire. But suits everybody in the chat, man. God bless each and every one of you guys, man. But let's get to it, man. We got a lot of things to talk about. I'm still waiting for my brother Darcy, but until then, everybody's looking for. Of course, bro. Everybody's looking for. I'm telling y'all, bro. Go back just a few years ago. How many people are Knicks fans, bro? How many people truly Knicks fans, bro? Back in the 2000s. Look, man. One of the greatest rappers of all time. I don't care what no one says. He said this, bro. F all the glamours and glitz. I plan to get rich. I'm from New York and never was a fan of the Knicks. That hurt my heart when Big L said that crap, bro. that crushed my spirit. So when Big L said that, bro, and I was on a freestyle, he said, "Yo, I was tired," and I think it was it Bobito? He was like, "Tired?" For somebody not tired, that was dope. Yeah, Big L, man, rest in peace, Big L. When he said, "Yo, F all the glamours and glitz, I plan to get rich. I'm from New York and never was a fan of the Knicks." Big L, son. Why you had to say that, bro? Why you had to say that, Big L? Why? But hold on. Give me 2 seconds. I want to actually split out so I can show y'all the slides and stuff. Again, got a lot to talk about, man. Where's my slideshow? So first one, suits everybody in the chat, man. As people pour in. Sorry. It's not the OBS. I'm trying to get to the right slide. Call that a surf and turf. Let me see if that works. As long as you keep your guns to the sky. Oh, that takes off the what's the name? Hold on. Let me just take this off here. Hold up. You can live as long as you keep your guns to the sky. Wait, why is this not? Yo, come on, son. What's happening here? My bad, y'all. I'm trying to get this thing to pause so I could. All right, whatever. Now it's showing up. All right. So yeah, we got a lot of facts to talk about, but why is this not? Yo, why do I always got the bummiest freaking production value in the game, son? I'll be preparing for this stuff and then stupid things happen. Every single time, dogs. Every single time. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about, man. Knicks versus Pacers. In the regular season, Knicks actually had some success. But again, regular season doesn't necessarily matter into anything. Can't really go into that. Look at what happened to the Celtics. But the Knicks have had some success against the Pacers. They just don't look as formidable. At least to me, they not look as formidable as one would seem. And I may have gotten a record wrong. I think this is right because I got it straight from the reference, basketball reference. So hopefully this is correct. But if it's not, I'll make the changes. But I'm pretty sure that record is correct as I show you guys what the Knicks did to... Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. What the Knicks did to the Pacers in the regular season as everything goes slow pace. All right, let me transition here again. What are you doing? Oh. Chill out. As you can see here, Knicks went 2-1 versus the Pacers. Obviously, third position. Average 124 points a game versus 115. 46.3% from the field. Shot 37% from three. Pacers shot a lot worse, 31%. Rebound them, under assisted them. But from what I saw with the Pacers this season, man, like, look, they're still a team that's good. They embrace the fast break opportunities, run and gun. But what I saw by the Knicks this season, just from the tidbits I saw, like, the Knicks have every weapon to truly defeat the Pacers this season, this postseason. Like, our best player, you could argue, was Cat. Cat averaged like 30 points a game. What was it, 30 points a game? off of 47% shooting from the field. I got to use these notes because I didn't put it into my freaking computer. 47% from three, 89% from the stripe, 12 rebounds a game, 1.7 assists a game. And it just felt like no matter who you put in his way, that he was going to dominate, right? It didn't matter if you had Pascal, didn't matter if you had Miles Turner, didn't matter if you had, he abused Thomas Bryant. If you go back to that 40-point game, and Cat was all over the place, attacking the basket from the wing, catching it like a wing, attacking the closeouts in the post-ups. Like, bro, Cat was everywhere. And I'll get to one of my keys to the game, but this is why I say, man, Cat, this is going to be a very important series for Karl-Anthony Towns. And just look at other plays, man, they just don't scare me. They just don't scare me. Pascal's a good player, but if you go back to last year's playoffs, man, people got hurt when they shot 68, 69% from the field. I didn't feel anything like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. You had your man Turner attacking the basket a little bit more, but even then, I didn't see anything that would convince me that these guys are overly dominant. I watched the games during the Cavaliers series, right? And I watched game 2, game 1, game 2. I watched them naturally, right? So I watched all the games, but just doing the rewatch. I rewatched game 1, game 2, game 4, I didn't rewatch the last one because that was a blowout. Game 4, game 3, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe game 4. And the things I saw by that team, like the Cavaliers team, like the Pacers have had the easiest run. The Cavaliers gave up. Go back and watch. I know your man, they said Garland was hurt after that, or after game 1 or whatever. Oh no, came back game 2, was hurt in game 1. But if you watch those games, bro, Donovan Mitchell tried to do his best. He got hurt, obviously, at the end. That Cavaliers team really didn't put pressure on the Pacers like you thought. After game 1, when Halliburton had that ridiculous sequence, catch his own rebound off the missed free throw and hit that 3, they demoralized the Cavaliers, bro. The Cavaliers players, guys like Garland, only came back because they got pressure from the media. Like, bro, you're in the playoffs, dogs. You play hurt. Play hurt. But guys like Ty Jerome and, bro, man, like, for a team, I didn't see anything by the Pacers that convinced me, like, yo, this is, when they played the Milwaukee Bucks, nothing from them that said, yo, they're really going through it. Do they like to run the floor? Yes. They're number 1 in transition points, number 2 in points per possession, number 1 in points per game off transition, or flip it around 1 to 2, right? They still live off the fast breaks. They still they run Halliburton. They run a lot through their bigs. Like if you watch them, Pascal, that's one of my keys to game stop, the off-ball move by the bigs. Pascal and Miles Turner, they live off-ball movement in terms of as wings off the pick and roll. That's why one of the statistics, they ran the pick and roll in the playoffs so far. What was it? As a pick and roll ball handler, why can't I find my damn stat? As a pick and roll ball handler, why can't I find my damn stats, bro? Yeah, 18.5% possessions. No, that's not it. Hold on. Why can't I find my pick and roll stats? Why can't I find my pick? Here it is. Off the pick and rolls, they ran a frequency of 15.4%. Knicks ran at 18.3% in the playoffs so far. 5th in points per possession, 7th in points per game with a pick and roll ball handler. But as the roll man, 7.5 possessions came off of that. 4th in points per game and 8th in points. Sorry, 4th in points per game and 4th in points per game. Off those pick and rolls, right? Where they just kept their feed their big men, pause. But then guys like, it was almost like a conduit to try to get their bigs open. I saw a lot of plays, right? Pascal set the screen, kind of lingered, and then rolled to the basket. Pascal go set a screen off ball, come and get the ball, set the screen, roll to the basket. Pascal cut into the right into the foul line, and then roll to the basket if the pass went there initially, right? So there's a lot of off-ball movement, right? And Rick Carlisle talked about it, where he's cut down plays. So they're coming from like a mind where Rick Carlisle first started out with the Pacers, kind of like overloading them with plays, and then kind of chopping away and trying to do what they do best, right? And I give him credit. Actually, one of the best out of bounds ATO after timeout teams in the league. Like they run some really good stuff. So Knicks have to watch out for that. When I watch this team, there's nothing that tells me that we can't beat them. Last year, they ate off of freaking TJ McConnell playing as the most important ball handler. Remember, game 1, game 2, we beat them All really because they took out T.J. McConnell. Remember, he came back in game 1 in that fourth quarter. Game 2, they took out T.J. McConnell again. After that, they're like, yo, leave T.J. McConnell in that fourth quarter. Once they did that, we had no answer, and obviously people got hurt. But our kryptonite was having your man, Halliburton play as an off-ball guard away from McConnell versus him as a lead guard. Once they figured out, we were done for. But now we have better point of attack defenders, McCall, a healthy OG Anunoby. If they need to switch for a reason. We have so many weapons on this team, it doesn't make sense for us to not be effective against the squad. So some of the keys factors I had for the series: protect the perimeter, abuse and hunt Halliburton on defense. Cat statement series. Don't be like Jared Allen on Turner. And I wish I could have had the film because I should have saved some of these clips. Jared Allen plays some of the worst defense I've ever seen in my effing life. Jared Allen turns into a really small player in playoffs, bro. He is not a pressure player whatsoever. He's not a guy that I think you can trust as your big, even if he's not even a number. He's the number 5 option in that starting lineup, but he's still not a guy I would trust off defensively. Bro, son, if you watch, I wish I could show. I just don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get copyrighted with another. If I could show y'all some of the clips from what Jared Allen was doing defensively against the Pacers, bro, you would be like, bro, this should be even for Mitchell Robinson, who sags off and plays drop back a lot of times. This is like, I wouldn't say cakewalk. It's almost night and day though for him. Other factors neutralize Indiana's front court off-ball movement. Like I mentioned, limit second chance opportunities, control the boards, offset ball pressure with others. Frustrate T.J. McConnell's on-dribble drive, limit fast breaks, force half-court game by the Pacers, eat a paint when they go small. So let's go through these factors. Still waiting for my brother Darcy to get in. He might be late. He might not be here. But I'll go through this myself if it is. And still right in the chat, man. I know it's not going to be a lot of people because it's not a watch-along. But still right in the chat, man. We got MH in the building. Donald Cannon, salute my guy. Reese Anderson, my guy, salute my guy. Even though he's a Giants fan, he don't know no better. But salute to my guy, Reese Anderson. Fat Tracy McGrady, Fat Zachary Randolph, the dumb Jerome James. That, son, bro. Man pond, son. Yo, son, when they signed Jerome James, because he had one decent series against he was with Seattle. Damn, I'm forgetting who he had a good series against. And I think they still lost. When Isaiah Thomas picked him, son, I wanted to cry. So I'm like, are we serious? Not picked him, signed him. When he signed him, bro, that made me want to cry like something. He really in the doldrums. That's the thing, man. Isaiah Thomas was a great basketball mind. Remember, he was responsible for Trace McGrady, Rondo. Like, he's a great basketball mind, but in terms of making executive decisions, one of the worst. Suit the D Coolest in the building said, come on, son. He said, Big L copy Lord Finesse style. Chill, bro. Chill, son. Chill. Man Pond, I was there when they said David Lee and chill. Yo, son. Yo, let me tell you something, Man Pond. Is this Jeff, by the way? If it's Jeff, my brother Jeff, man, met at Legends, bro. Salute, man. Bro, when they said it was David Lee, David Robinson, Channing Frye, and I remember Channing Frye, he at one point, I think he led Arizona. He's either number 1 or number 3 in blocks or something like that. And I remember watching Channing Frye. I'm like, yo, bro, this dude is weak, son. Your man Channing Frye gets mollywopped on a night-in basis, bro. There's nothing tough about Channing Frye in the paint, son. And then obviously once he moved away from the Knicks, he became a guy who eats from the outside. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. I remember having a hope when my son Trevor Reeves was here. Son Trevor Reeves was one of our bright. I don't care what no one says. He couldn't shoot, but he could defend a high level and he could attack the basket, bro. And I had faith in him. When Larry Brown traded this dude, mind you, Larry Brown was only here for one season. He hated rookies, hated young players, bro. And they traded Trevor Reeves, so I got sick to my stomach. I still believe Anthony Randolph is going to be nice. Yo, I could go down a list. In terms of Nick Hopes, bro. I go down a list in terms of Nick Paynes, bro. If you want to talk about, we talk about that later, son. Y'all don't know Payne. I'm a Knicks, Mets, Jets fan, bro. And Manchester United. Y'all don't know Payne, son. Y'all don't know Payne like 2010, 2011, watching Mark Sanchez throw up garbage against the Steelers, bro, losing by like 6 because Rashard Mendenhall had 1 billion yards, bro. Y'all don't know Payne, son. Y'all know Payne seeing Ryan Fitzpatrick literally in a game, if they win it in the playoffs versus the Buffalo Bills against Rex Ryan, throwing a pass that the safety was this close. If he misses it, touchdown, Jets win. Y'all don't know Payne, son. Watching Carlos Beltran with 2 guys on base. I want to say it was Paul LaDuca and Jose Reyes on base versus the Cardinals, who mollywopped the almighty Detroit Tigers, who everybody thought was going to be nice. Troy Percival. Not Troy Percival. I'm sorry. Was it Troy? I think Troy Percival was Darren Schultz. I'm forgetting all the names. Watching all them dudes. Andy Chavez make one of the greatest catches of his life. Carlos Beltran, who had his career year 271, 41 home runs, or whatever it was, not swing on a backdoor curve, bro. Y'all don't know pain, son. Y'all don't know pain, son. After Alva Perez, who were like, yo, bro, F it. Just throw anybody out there. We need any pitching. Alva Perez having the greatest game of his life. Aaron Howman, of course, effing it up. Going up against the almighty Scott Rowland. Y'all don't know pain, son. Sincere the genius. Salute my guy. White Mike, salute my guy. Sage the Knicks. Yo, that's my brother, man. Yo, son, this dude be missing, son. Why? I don't know why Tibbs didn't use that lineup more often. Jared Allen's just happy to be here, son. Jared Allen, bro, I watched film, and I watched the full game one, son. I watched the full game one. I watched the condensed game 2. And game 4, I want to say game 4. I can't remember what. I know I didn't rewatch the last game, but game 3, game 4, I can't remember which one it was. And I'm just like, yo, bro, Jared Allen is not him, son. Isaiah put his back for a long time. I cried after game 6. Knicks are back. Fry was no, he was not. Channing Fry was not nice here. Stop. No, he wasn't. He was trash. I watched him. Channing Fry, Nate Robinson, all them dudes, bro. Oh, then they brought in Al Harrington, who I hated his jump shot. Trash ass jump shot. No offense. He was a good player from New Jersey. Donovan, isn't it crazy that these Knicks are all 4 teams? OB, Pace, yeah. Harnshaw, OKC, and Randall, yep. But they all said Tom Thibodeau don't know how to coach, bro. They all say he don't know how to coach. Players come out of the Knicks. It's funny, the veterans who left the Knicks outside of Obi have all found value. But these are guys who have already been out around the league, but they're having some of their better years after Tom Thibodeau, under Tom Thibodeau's coaching tutelage. Trading J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert to the Caps so they can win a chip. Man, Pond, let me say something, though. Iman Shumpert was my guy, bro. I had faith in Iman Shumpert. This is my brother PJ, man, who just had a baby. Suits to PJ, bro. That's my guy. Suits to his beautiful wife, Elvina. Just had a baby. Let me tell you something. Iman Shumpert before the knee injury could have been a demon. Iman Shumpert was dunking on freaking KG. I remember he dunked on KG, and they called the tech because he was looking at KG. But if Draymond does it, they don't say anything. Draymond could smack a ref in the face. Draymond could put a golden shower on the ref. They I didn't see it. But they called I was like, nah, Iman Shumpert is that dude. And I remember against the Indiana Pacers series in 2013, they brought him back. They brought him into the game. Mike Woodson, I will never forgive him for this. Iman Shumpert hit like 2 threes. And mind you, Melo was getting destroyed. Pause. He couldn't go up because you have Roy Hibbert, and he was getting guarded by Stevenson a lot and Paul George. Your man, Iman Shumpert, came in, hit 2 threes, took him right back. I'm like, bro, are you... Yeah, his game is done. His game is done. Iman Shumpert was a dog. I don't care what before the knee injury. So I understand him trading him to the Cavaliers, but that whole Knicks team was about effery, bro. You don't trade former players to strengthen another team if they have some value. J.R. Smith has some value. Don't get me wrong. The second half of that season, regular season, he was literally the best shooting guard, or top 3 or something like that. Top 3, top 5 shooting guard in the league the second half of the season. Something like that. So it is with my boy Esco's done with the Mets. We were living high together. I feel his Mets are gonna historically, yo, bro, bad. Double play after double play. Your man got 9 double plays so far this season, bro. Soto. If Shumpert played point guard from the start, he would have been good. And no D'Antoni. Yeah, man. Shumpert. Well, Shumpert's not a point guard. Shumpert's like an energy. He's like a combo guard. But Shumpert, he had this. I hate it because he was developing confidence in the 3-point shot. Then he went over to the Cavaliers. He had to kind of play more in the LeBron James. So you could kind of see his confidence kind of wane a little bit. Like he just wasn't as confident. I don't feel like from outside. So sometimes you just see him put up these stupid breaks. But I saw the Iman Shumpert development side. Like that's my son, bro. So I always wish him well wherever he is, bro. He never talks bad about the Knicks, really. Never really puts us down, at least from what I saw, bro. I be seeing him in good spirits. I didn't greet him. I saw him at the Summer League, bro. Good. He like a good dude, man. So suit to Iman Shumpert. Let me get the streamer. I see Darcy in the building. Wait, hold up. My bad, Darcy. Hold up. Let me get the StreamYard up. I don't know why. Why I oughta. Damn, son. What is happening? Yo, my guy Darcy. Salute. Can you hear me, bro? Damn. See how they do me, son. Darcy.
Yo, I'm here, bro.
I'm joking. What's good, Darcy? How you feeling, bro?
What up, brother? I'm doing good.
Talk to me, bro. We in the ECF, bro. You mad calm and everything, man. What's wrong with you, bro?
Hey, man.
F wrong with you? This is the first time since 90. Yo, son, since 99 2000, bro. You a kid. You probably, I don't know if you was
Hey, bro,
born,
this
son.
shit it been messing with my sleep. I've been waking up in the middle of the night thinking about the
Son,
Knicks.
son, you know how many
Bro,
times,
like
bro?
I'm waking up in the middle of the night, like
Son,
I
I've
can't
been,
even, bro. The night I can't even sleep good because it's like I'm waking up ready for the game to come.
son, bro, son. I'm
Bro,
at work thinking about different matches. I'm like, yo, son, I'm like, yo, we could sweep them if we do this. And now we got Macau, you got OG. So like, and people are healthy, and now you don't gotta. You could just put like OG on Siakam. Yo, bro,
yo, let's
I don't want.
oh
Son, bro, my heart. I've been so hurt by so many things happened over the years with the Knicks. So it's like I didn't want to get happy until like that the final games. Like you don't, yo, Darcy, son. Out of all the teams, son, if the Knicks win it, Darcy. There was one point in my life, Darcy. I was like, I'm fine with the Knicks never win a championship. I'm reserved. Like I was like, okay, it's okay, God, it's cool. I'm not even mad anymore. And bro, Darcy, please correct me if I'm wrong. We had the toughest trial to this period so far, bro. The Pistons, they threw their best at us. I don't care what no one says, bro. Pistons were not going to play the Boston Celtics like that. Then you had the Celtics playing us the way they did, right? The Knicks have had the toughest trial, the toughest run up to this ECF, bro. And the Pacers, don't get me wrong, the Pacers are tough, but I don't think they're as tough as people make them out to be, bro. They played against a hobbled Bucks team. Then they played against a hobbled Cavaliers team who I felt gave up. So I want you to talk about a little bit, man. The road to get up to the ECF. How would you evaluate it compared to other teams in the league?
oh, let me ask, yo, Donald, you saw me on one of those videos, because I did jump on, but they never put out because in reference, Donald was like I was on Side Talk, and I'm like I actually did get in one of them Side Talk joints, but he never put me in the highlight for it. This was during the Pistons series.
You in a side talk?
Yeah, but
Oh.
he never put out the video.
So probably while you were waiting, right? They probably caught you in the background, like right in the direct background, maybe before or after you went. So he probably saw you there.
I never even saw no. I didn't see Side Talk put any clips of that night out though. So I thought maybe they had some audio problems, and maybe when they got home and tried to edit it, maybe something was wrong. Because I see they put something out for the Celtics once. I'm like, why would y'all not have put out the one we had after the Pistons won? But it is what it is.
I gotta check that out, man. Hold on, let me see this.
But hey, bro, what if you recall? And I hope you do. A couple of weeks before the playoffs started, I said, hey, bro, we going to the finals. And I said the reason why, simply put, is when you really look at it, Jalen Brunson has done more with less around him. He sent home the Cleveland Cavaliers 2 years ago, right? With less talent. You had R.J. Barrett. And R.J. is my son, so I'm not putting R.J. down. But you had R.J. Barrett. You had an injured Julius Randle. You had Mitchell Robinson. You had Emmanuel Quickly, who was trash. Like, and then you look at what JB was able to do last year with less talent around him. It's like, if JB was able to do that with less talent around him, why would he not be able to do more when you add in Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns? And then you get Mitchell Robinson returning. When I looked at it like that, everything changed for me about the regular season. I'm like, you know what? We getting everybody healthy. JB has a will to win, and he has a certain will to win that you don't see in a lot of NBA players. You see some of these teams when the pressure's on, they cower, right? You look at Denver Nuggets, that game 7 they just went out in. These guys didn't play with a lot of heart. They didn't play with the belief that they could win.
I agree.
And JB, no matter whether we down or not, he's playing to try and win. And so to me, we're down to the last 4 teams. I don't see it in any of these other teams. And yeah, they're talented. OKC is extremely talented, a legitimate threat. Timberwolves, a threat. But I just don't believe that these guys have the will to win that Jalen Brunson has.
I seen the OKC game. One thing, Jalen Williams is Even though he had if I remember, a good last game or game set, I can't remember which one. But he he was struggling a little bit. And
Yeah, he
to
had
your
like
point,
6 points in one of those games.
I watched a game where literally iHeart had like 3 dunks, put back dunks, or whatever hustle plays in a row, like where he's scoring. I'm like, the Nuggets, they're not giving no resistance to this OKC team. So when
Yeah,
I look at
Jokic
these,
didn't even try to stop him.
they didn't try to stop. Yo, bro, the person to me who I thought was like, I thought was probably the most impactful player outside of Jokic, you could say, was Aaron Gordon. Like, that was the only dude that hitting shots, was attacking the basket. I know he's struggling the last bit. Aaron Gordon to me is like, that was a heart and soul of the team, bro. But while I see the team, Darcy, bro, I just don't see it where I'm convinced that they've had as tough of a road to the finals, or excuse me, to through the playoffs so far as the Knicks have. So, but it is what it is. Let's get to the factors, bro. As I mentioned, man, some of the factors like I had, man, keys to the game. Abuse. Hunt Halliburton on defense. Again, he is absolute garbaggio. If you look at it, what he's been putting up against in the playoffs so far, some of his numbers, Donovan Mitchell, he's given a 55% from Donovan Mitchell, who's gone 11 for 20 from the field, 3 for 9 from Halliburton. Gary Trent Jr. of all people, remember he had that ridiculous game, the final game where they lost because he actually lost the ball, let it go through his legs. Pause. Gary Trent had it was 8 for 15 in 5 games against him, 5 for 7 from three. Max Strus was 8 for 24 against him, not great, 5 for 19 from three. Giannis obviously is going to be a mismatch, 7 for 10 from the field, no threes. AJ Green was 4 for 6 against him. Darius Garland was 4 for 8 against him. Bobby Portis was 4 for 9 against him. Taurean Prince was 2 for 5 against him. Sam Merrill 2 for 6, excuse me. Ty Jerome 2 for 15, but Ty Jerome's had a bad series altogether. Kyle Kuzma was 2 for 4 against him. So I just want you to talk about that factor real quick, if you agree with it, and how do you attack Halliburton? It seems kind of obvious what you do, but how would you attack Halliburton on defense? What would be your offensive game plan to kind of get Halliburton, expose him on defense?
Uh, for Halliburton, just try to get him into action. Keep getting him into action. Try to get him frustrated. Um, Especially if you can get some easy calls on him. Try to get him to get overzealous on defense to where, maybe he's getting some unnecessary fouls that can keep him out the game. You really just want to keep getting him into action and just keep putting pressure on him. And then attack him too. Defensively, this guy's he's not a good defender. He's not a great help defender. He can play help defense, but when I looked at some of the plays and even the games that we played them in this regular season, I went back and watched some of those. I just didn't see anything spectacular on the defensive end. So I think you just got to try to expose him, keep attacking him. He's frail, right? Put a body on him. Play him physical, attack him, be aggressive. JB gets the mismatch on him, take him into the paint, back him down. Try to force him to play help defense because and again, he's the perfect player to attack because somebody's gonna play help defense with him. They're gonna put 2 on the ball if Halliburton is playing man-to-man defense on somebody like JB, or if he gets switched on the Towns, which shouldn't happen. But hypothetically speaking, all the guys on our team pretty much have more size over Tyrese Halliburton. Even Mikal weighs more than him. So to me, you just got to be aggressive, play physical, attack him, try to get him into foul trouble.
I agree with you. And the funny thing is that when you look at the numbers last year, OG killed him. Was 3 for 3 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3 in the playoffs last year before he got hurt. That was in 3 games. Josh Hart had a great series against him, 9 for 12 against him, 1 for 2 from 3 against Halliburton in 7 games. Jalen Brunson struggled. He was 4 for 11 against him, 1 for 3 from 3. But then this year in the regular season, Jalen Brunson shot 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3. So I would try to get Halliburton as many switches as possible, and again, for whatever reason, I don't run those picks with Cat as much. But I try to get Mikal, who they like to play a little bit more off the ball away from Brunson, so I get it. But I try to get Mikal or even OG, like you said, and even run the pick and roll, little short pick and roll with Josh that they like to do. Just try to get that switch to Halliburton, who they're going to try to hide on defense. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Trae Young, but it's definitely going to be something that they're going to try to hide or try to keep us from exposing defense. Another fact I want to get to, man, and we got to talk about it, man. Cat, I think this could be a statement series for Cat. He had one of his best games this season against the Indiana Pacers. Had that 40-point game versus Indiana this whole season. 30 points a game in 3 games. 47% from the field, 57% from 3, 89% from the strike, 12 rebounds, 1.7 assists. The Knicks finally have a big, something that we did not have last year, to control the pace, to counteract their bigs in Turner, who attacked the basketball in the playoffs against us, and then Pascal Siakam, who was a major problem, especially as the series wore on. So I just want to see if you agree with that, man. What are your thoughts on Cat possibly having a career-defining series against the Pacers, where his numbers they popped in the regular season, and all his attributes should definitely be able to take on their front court. But I want to hear your opinion on that. How do you feel about?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Karl Anthony Towns in 18 career games against the Pacers. He's averaging 27 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. That's pretty impressive.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Across his career in 18 games, and 18 is a large sample size. So obviously that tells you this guy has used and abused this team, and I think they're aware of that. And so for me, we need to play how we played this last game. And I look at Karl Anthony Towns' interview today. He said something that was very crucial at the end of his interview. He said that previously in all the games that they were playing the Celtics prior to Game 6, he said that their approach was to see how the Celtics were adjusting and then playing from there. He said in Game 6, the key difference that allowed them to dominate that game was that they were not concerned about what adjustments the Celtics were going to make or were making. They started the game being the aggressor and attacking them. And so they need to stick with that philosophy going into this series of being the aggressor. And a key part of that is getting the ball to Towns early in the offense, starting the game with him. And I love the cohesion that he's building with Josh Hart. Josh Hart and Karl Anthony Towns have really progressed in their synergy, right? It's similar to how JB has that synergy with Josh Hart, that when the game is on the line, typically these guys are heavily synced, even when it comes down to JB's passes. Sometimes JB makes some wild passes and Josh is there to catch them, and vice versa. And so I just think that with Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, you got to use Josh Hart to get him the ball. I think JB has to make sure that he move the ball, but when you have opportunities to score, when you have a mismatch, maybe when he has a big on him, get down into the paint. You got to try to get guys like Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam into foul trouble early in the game. These guys are going to come out trying to be aggressive. You have to capitalize on that by forcing them to make silly fouls and kind of disrupting them offensively. Because if you can get one of those guys out the game early, if Towns can get Miles Turner into fouls trouble early just by attacking him, that's going to be huge for this team, because Miles Turner plays a vital role for them offensively. And he's a guy who usually, we've seen it last year, will hit some clutch threes to help build some momentum and help get them back in the game. And so you want to make sure that Towns is attacking him on all cylinders, whether that's shooting the three, pick and pop with JB, pick and pop with Josh Hart, whoever. Towns needs to make sure that he's being aggressive on all cylinders.
I agree. One thing I want to see from Karl Towns too, in talking about being aggressive, like forcefully put yourself in sets with Brunson. Forcefully call for it when stop staying at the top of the key. Get better position in the post when you, because one thing that the Pacers, they don't do it a lot. So I saw some assists. They don't go small too often. Like they stopped going as small as they did in the regular season. In the regular season, they went. I can't find this. In the regular season, in terms of possessions where Pascal and Turner were out, it made up about 18.5 of their possessions without Siakam or Turner. And then in the postseason, only 7.7% of their possessions came without Siakam or Turner in the game. And their numbers, it did terribly once they were out the game. So the Pacers, obviously, you share the rotations. You play a little bit tight of a game, but when they go small, especially against a guy like Thomas Bryant's not small, but he abused a guy like Thomas Bryant in the playoffs. In the regular season. So to me, I don't want to see any situations where you taking out KP, you taking out freaking Al Horford, and we're not feeding Cat in the paint. That's what we did against the Celtics. At times, I'm like, bro, are we out of our effing minds? That's on Tibbs, that's on Brunson, but that's also on Cat too, man. Cat has to force his way in certain situations to say, look, bro, we have a mismatch. Why are we not exploiting it? So to me, man, I'm looking at it as a statement game. I know regular season is not the greatest of indicators. I get it, but what I saw from Cat in this regular season, I'm like, yo, bro, this is the big man front court weapon the Knicks did not have last year, bro. I couldn't depend on a big man to attack Siakam and get him into foul trouble. Siakam destroyed us. He shot 69% in one game, if I remember. Whatever that game was. It was game 6 or game, whatever the hell it was, when they couldn't miss from the field. Right? Knicks didn't have that situation, so I'm expecting a lot more from Cat this playoffs. He has to try to insert himself in the game offensively, especially when you have the mismatches. But, I think this could be a career-defining matchup for him. I'm talking about where he dominates the series. There have been times when Cat last year against the Nuggets, he had games here and there where he's done really well. But has Cat truly had a career-defining series in the playoffs? I mean, he's not been a crazy amount of times, but has he truly had a career-defining series? I don't think so.
I mean, I think I will say him beating Jokic was huge for his career. But again, bro, I'm right on the same page with you. He has to dominate this series, and I think the Knicks know that. When you look at his production, that 40-point game he had, where he was just killing Thomas Bryant, and then even the games prior, he hasn't had a game where he scored under 20 points against these guys. So I expect us to be aggressive and looking for Towns on the offensive end, and Josh Hart is going to get him that ball. And JB's they're gonna follow the game plan of getting him that ball, because again, Siakam is going to have to play help defense. Miles Turner is not going to be able to keep up with Karl Anthony Towns all game if we keep going to him on offense. And you look at what he was able to do against Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They're a bigger team, and these guys are smart defensively. They don't foul often. Miles Turner does not present a strong matchup against Karl Anthony Towns. And then rebounding, right? That's going to be huge for us. One game, we out-rebounded them by like 20 rebounds, and that led to 26 second-chance points. And that was without Mitchell Robinson. So if we deploy that two-big lineup, and of course it depends on who they have on the court, but if you deploy that two-big lineup when they put their bench in, we should easily be able to go on a run. And then we have to make sure we're aggressive in the paint. They don't have good defense when it comes to protecting the paint. We have to be aggressive. Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson together, that two-big lineup, all you got to do is have Towns continue to just keep attacking the rim. Mitchell Robinson easily is racking up them rebounds over Thomas Bryant or Jarace Walker.
And they are one of the worst rebounding teams. Just real quick, Pascal versus Pat in the regular season, Cat dominated these two guys versus Pascal Siakam. Cat only 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 2 from 3. But only had a matchup over like 2 minutes, 15 seconds against Miles Turner, the guy who used to be an elite defender at the rim. Your man in 20 minutes, 15 seconds, put up 14 for 23. This all in 2 games, 3 for 6 from outside. Absolutely mollywop Miles Turner. And to your point, the freaking Pacers are one of the worst rebounding teams, at least remaining in the playoffs. They're not a team that lives with second chance opportunities this season. So far in the playoffs, they're last in offensive rebounds per game, 11th in overall rebounds. One of the worst putback teams. They're 19th out of all playoff teams in putback points per miss, 19th in putback plays per miss, and 18th in putback points per play. So this is not a team like we should look. You defend them. You make them take these. You make them take bad shots. Cut down the fast break opportunities. Make it play a half court game. We should have a definitive factor in that, especially when you play a 2-big lineup with Mitch and Karl Anthony Towns. But another factor I wanted to talk about with you, my guy, was why is this not working? Another factor I put, don't be like Jared Allen. I don't know if you sort of the interview they just did, Channing Frye was killing Jared Allen. He said, "Look, Jared Allen he's a good player, but the bigs in the league don't respect him." If you watch Jared Allen, like I said, play against Siakam and Turner, bro, it was especially Turner, some of the worst defense I've ever saw for a big. So this is we talk about Cat. This could be a statement game for Mitch, and I'm talking about just defensively. If you make Miles Turner turn into a guy who's trying to attack the basket, is not hitting threes like he did against son, this could be a statement. This a major push-up for Mitchell Robinson in terms of just his overall value, a guy that doesn't need to have the ball in his hands to basically so-called get a team to the championship. Because the way Jared Allen was playing, bro, a lot of you guys in the chat could play a lot better than what Jared Allen was playing. Because that was
bro, Jared Allen proved 2 years ago that he's soft, bro. In an elimination game against the Knicks, Mitchell Robinson had 16 rebounds. He had 4. The man had 4 rebounds in an elimination game. One, he's not a real center. He's 6'9", and because of his 3-inch afro,
he looks 7 feet.
Yeah, bro.
What's up, man? What's up?
Bro, he's 6'9". You go Google his height, they're gonna tell you he's 6'9".
Nah, you're right,
he's a power forward playing center. You know, and yeah, he not really built for this, bro. He not really like that. You could look at him and tell he not really like that.
He's not, bro. I'm sorry, man. I don't know how they're gonna move on. Was he making one more year, $25 million? Because that's signed a $100 million contract a few years ago, or $20 million. I don't know what that was, but.
And again, I'm not even surprised at what the Pacers did. I had the Pacers winning because at the end of the day, the Cavs are soft, bro. This is the same core that we sent home in 5 2 years ago. Yeah, they got more depth. You know what? Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter. That's it.
And that guy did nothing.
Well,
Ty Jerome was
I mean, Ty Jerome was trash, bricking shots. DeAndre Hunter, he can hit a couple shots, but he's not really doing nothing. And then Strus talking about, don't show up if you don't believe. And he shot, 0 for 9? Yo, you dookie. Get off the court, buddy.
Remember he had the interview where he was trying to look all serious, yeah, if people was he crying? Is it
look,
Max?
Man, maybe that might have worked when he was on the Heat. It's
right.
You soft, buddy. I don't know, right? Like I said, I was never a believer in the Cavs just because of what they did in the regular season.
I agree.
Playoffs was a whole level of different level of physicality and intensity, and they could play the injury cop out, but it's y'all had a 20-point lead on these dudes. Y'all let them come back, and y'all didn't have a real will to win. You had Kenny Atkinson talking about, they were physical, they were more physical than us, and then I'm like, bro, the Pacers. Imagine if y'all had played Detroit or y'all had played us. It's bully season.
And I like Atkinson, but yeah, your man was wilding, bro. The Pacers. I'm telling you, bro. People watch that series. I never got the Pacers are out physically. I don't know the right word, physical and whatever. You had Miles Turner still shooting threes. He'll try to get to a little mid range. Now that's the only thing I was saying. And Pascal would get the ball from the wing and attack, but he's been doing that for you. But it's I didn't feel like they were over physical.
Yeah,
Jared Allen was late on every closeout. Jared Allen was late. Bro, when I'm talking about Miles Turner's getting the ball and you see it, Jared Allen, there's sometimes he just quit and just run and be F, he's going to shoot the ball. I'm like, bro, even if he's in there already shooting, just your presence might throw him off. So, Jared Allen, we talk about quitters, I'll give this about Mitch. Let me give credit to Mitch. I've never seen Mitch quit defensively like I've ever seen Jared Allen do. I can say whatever I want about Mitch and his bad hands, free throws, whatever. At the very least, and I see Mitch get more frustrated, he'll foul more. But I've never seen him give up like Jared Allen. Jared Allen was done with that series. Once you saw that, what's the name got hurt? And another thing too, man, Darius Garland, all that chain shit, and you sit up here, chain blah, blah, and you were deciding if you want to play hurt or not, and then the media had to basically bully you into playing hurt, bro. Y'all dudes need to keep your energy for your own career. Stop talking about the Knicks, dogs. Stop trying to play up whenever y'all play the Knicks and do all this stupid shit to try to embarrass us if y'all win a game and get y'all got to worry about your own careers. Y'all the Pistons. Come on, dogs. Y'all some bullshit. But let me get to the next key, bro. We got freaking TJ McConnell. Now, again, like I said, man, the series took a turn after they realized, feed TJ McConnell, keep TJ McConnell in late, especially in the fourth quarter. Because remember, they took TJ McConnell out the first two games in the beginning of the near the beginning of the fourth quarter. When you allow Halliburton to be a point guard by himself, be the lead guard, it didn't work well for the Pacers. They figured out, all right, let's play Halliburton more off the ball alongside McConnell, and that's how they killed us. So I just want to ask you, man, obviously with guys being healthy, it should be a lot more easier. But how do you feel about the TJ McConnell factor going into the series?
I'm expecting a big series from Deuce. You know, last year he did not play well in that series against the Pacers. Dante didn't play well in the series against the Sixers. You know, he had that big shot in game 2, but overall, you look at his numbers, he barely had games where he scored more than 10 points. And Deuce was the one who was having the bigger games in that Sixers series. And then fast forward to the matchup against the Pacers, Deuce didn't play well, and Dante ended up playing well. So I think that was a large factor in why TJ McConnell had the impact that he did. And then again, we just had we were a smaller team.
Sorry, my bad, yo. I saw this too, bro. So Sage said, yo, Deuce can't guard white people.
What?
Because he struggled against Peyton Pritchard, though. He did struggle against Peyton. Peyton Pritchard was cooking him, son.
Nah, I mean, if you think about it, bro, Peyton Pritchard could have put up way more than he did.
He could have.
Deuce also had to play a lot of help defense, too.
He did, but he was
Peyton Pritchard,
though.
Bro, that's 6th man of the year right there. So considering that he didn't really have many games where he scored more than 15. And again, if you look at it, a lot of possessions, Deuce wasn't on him. We were switching a lot. So I feel like Deuce did a good job. And then McConnell's no Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, he's gonna get into that paint and sneak a low layup in. But you know, offensively, he's not as much of a threat like Peyton Pritchard is. But again, you know, Deuce didn't play well against them last year. I'm expecting him to want a little revenge this year and he's gonna play better. I'm banking on that. I'm banking that Deuce gonna do his thing and he's gonna have McConnell on Clint. Put a body on him, play him physical. And again, we gotta play physical team defense and maximum intensity, maximum concentration. And if we do that and we do that for all 48 minutes, the Knicks can win this in 5 if not 4.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah. Again, bro, here's why I'm saying that. I look at it like this. We're one of the slowest paced teams in the league. We went from 97 possessions per game to 95 in the playoffs, so we slowed it down even more. So JB's spectacular at controlling the pace. And then I look at it like this, bro. We are the bigger team this year. You know, we were smaller last year with Dante at the 2 guard, and then you saw a lot of minutes where it was JB, Dante, and Deuce, right? And Josh Hart 6'5". You know, you got Mikal Bridges in the mix with his 7-foot wingspan. You got a healthy OG Anunoby. Josh Hart's playing physical. You got a 7-footer on the floor and Karl Anthony Towns. You have more size on the court. And now you have Mitchell Robinson in this series too, so you can deploy the 2 big lineup. One, it's easier for us on the offensive end to shoot over them, which was evident in the games that we played against them this season. We went on like we 30-pieced them, you know, and it was a reason for that because they could not get stops on the defensive end. And even in Tyrese Halliburton's interview that I watched yesterday that he had during their practice, you know, he said that's going to be the key for them is getting stopped so that they can help push the pace. You know, he said, you know, during the regular season, they weren't really successful in getting stops against us. But he's like, that's something that they have to try to make sure that they do. And, you know, again, we are the bigger team. It should be easier to shoot over them. Mikal Bridges should be able to eat in the mid-range against them because who's blocking his shot? Nembhard and Neesmith are not blocking his shot. And so if everybody's being aggressive offensively, OG Anunoby has to be aggressive. You know, you just finished guarding Jason Tatum, who has greater usage than Pascal Siakam. So to me, you should have a little bit more energy to be able to be more aggressive on the offensive end of the floor. So I'm expecting to see OG more aggressive, especially with the stakes being greater. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. Even in Karl Anthony Towns' interview today, he said, hey, we have to play how we played in Game 6. We need to play like that every game. Especially, he said they understand that because, hey, the competition is greater now. The challenges are only going to get greater. So these guys have to lock in. And you got the size advantage. And that's on both ends of the floor because you can contest shots. You got two guys with 7-foot wingspans. These guys are small. Nembhard, Neesmith. That's why the Cavs struggle. The Cavs have a small backcourt. Mm-hmm. Ty Jerome was just bricking shots. It's not like somebody was actually,
Guard him up.
Yeah, he was just bricking. I'm watching dude. I'm like, yo, what's up with him? I'm like, yo, nobody's even contesting your shots. You just throwing the ball up.
You playing like how you were in the OKC. That's another thing too, man. It's like I really hope this series kind of lulled the Pacers, Cavs just not lull, but bring them into a false sense of security. Now, granted, Carlisle's a smart coach. He'll find he's going to be prepared, but I just wasn't impressed by the Pacers, bro, in versus the Cavaliers. Like, there's nothing I said. And in the regular season, like I said, I've been saying this, like, the Cavaliers, I know they mollywopped us. I thought they were a 4 team. I just never felt like, oh, they're going to really rise to the occasion and really dominate in the playoffs. But this Pacers team, bro, you make some good points. They do, they played against a smaller backcourt. TJ McConnell now, look, his issues, my major issue is just the dribble drive penetration, but to the basket. But having a guy like you could switch to McCall, I doubt you're gonna have OG because OG is most likely gonna be in Pascal Siakam. But just having those defensive guys that kind of switch around once TJ McConnell comes in does wonders. Now, you got guys like Ben Shepherd who's gonna hit threes and whatnot. I think protecting the perimeter is also important as well too because the Indiana Pacers is one of the top teams in hitting threes from the outside. But one thing I realized about Indiana Pacers, bro, they don't run the pick and pop as often as say the Celtics, right? Like they don't have guys who, off the dribble when they're using the screen, they're going to shoot it like the Celtics. Like Halliburton could do it, but that's not he don't do it as much as Tatum. So I hope the Knicks do keep the same kind. I wonder how. Okay, let me put it a different way. I do wonder how the Knicks going to run defensively off of screens. They run the pick and roll ball handle. They run it like 50% of the time, which is lower than like 25% of the top teams in the playoffs. So they don't rely on it in terms of scoring as much for like a guy like Halliburton, even though he's going to use those screens to get some space. Typically used to try to just facilitate to the big or somebody on the outside, someone cut underneath. So I do wonder how the Knicks going to play the perimeter, though. I do think it's going to be easier than, say, the Celtics. Celtics just that prolific team, but even the style of play from the Celtics gave us this in the regular season. I think now, with how they played against the Pistons and the Celtics, the Knicks, that is, defensively, we should have a lot better time defending the three. I just don't. I don't see the Pacers getting off as many threes as Celtics just given the style of play. How do you feel about that? How the Knicks guard on perimeter, their 3-point philosophy in terms of defending it? Is this going to be a personnel thing where Knicks just have healthy guys now? You have obviously Deuce McBride, McCall, OG healthy, and then also even how Cat played off the screens against Celtics and the Pistons for the most part. Are you confident in that? Like, how do you feel the Knicks going to approach defensively? Approach the Pacers 3-point ability defensively?
I mean, really, it's going to come down to communication, bro. You're going to have to really rotate and switch a lot. These guys are going to have to make sure they're communicating. And just playing with extra intentionality, bro. Like, you have to be intentional and knowing where your man is, knowing where the ball is. And just alert and aware. And being physical, right? Keeping a body on them. One thing I noticed that has changed with Macau that I was complaining about throughout the season was his lack of physicality. He wasn't making his man feel him. Pause. Like put a body on him. Yeah, make him.
Yeah, go. My bad. No, cut you off.
Make him feel you. When these guys are, when they're setting screens, bro, make them feel you. Stay with your man. Put a body on him. And that's what McCall is doing now. He's been a lot more physical, and that's what I want to see from him. And so I want him to, keep that up. That's going to be key. When these guys are at the perimeter, don't give them space. Use your length. Use your size. Put pressure on it. That's what gave them a lot of momentum against the Cavs because the Cavs are not a physical defensive team. They can play the passing lanes, and things like that, but they're not physical. And so when the Pacers realize, oh, these guys are not really putting the body on us, oh, we can get comfortable in here. They got comfortable on their home floor, and we can't allow that. We got to let them know, like, yo, y'all in New York, bro. We bullying y'all. This bully season. We taking your cookies. We taking your chocolate milk. We taking everything. Give me everything. I need all that.
This is gonna be a
Like,
big series for some of our defenders, bro. Like, I'm looking for big minutes from McCall, just point of attack on McConnell, guys like Halliburton and OG against Siakam. If we go into this, man, key matchups. I think OG Siakam is gonna be a major matchup. How OG plays defensively versus Siakam, I think dictates the series. Siakam, to me, I think he's a Pacers' best player. I know Halliburton had all the flash plays with the game one, heroics and whatnot, and 3-point. I think Siakam's their best overall player. And Siakam, how they utilize him, dribble handoffs, attack. Like, he plays like a big wing, can play as a pick and roll guy, plays in a post. And starting off the series, man, that last year against them in the playoffs, Josh Hart did have a good run, but it was just, having a guy like OG Anunoby healthy. And remember, the Pacers weren't doing anything against OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby, I don't want to say he was like Kawhi Leonard versus the Warriors that one year before he got hurt, but OG Anunoby was, if he stays healthy, we win that series. So OG versus Siakam is a major matchup. I think Mikal Bridges versus Halliburton is another major matchup because Mikal's probably going to be asked to help out a lot too. I think they're going to be trying to use Miles Turner off the dribble a lot more to attack the basket, something they did last year in the playoffs against us, which kind of surprised me because he likes to take his threes. So you're going to have a lot of tag, a lot of help by Mikal as well too. But Mikal and Halliburton is another important one. Naismith, who Brunson cooked last year in the playoffs before he got hurt, is another important matchup. I still think Brunson destroys Naismith, but I think one thing with Brunson too, if you watch the playoffs last year, obviously he struggled to start out against the 76ers, but one thing that Brunson I thought did, especially game 5, where he learned how to use his gravity to create plays for other guys, and I think that's going to be a major important a thing for Brunson. Brunson likes to set the tone against whoever the key defender is on him, right? Okoro, Naismith, whoever is defending him. Austin Thompson. He likes to set the tone, but I think it's going to be important to get other guys involved early on for Brunson, right? Not 4 shots and then cook Naismith when need be. But we'll see how, because there's been times he did the opposite, right? So we'll see how those things come apart. Obviously, Josh Hart and Nebhard's going to be an interesting matchup in terms of just 2 glue guys trying to be impactful on both ends of the floor for the Knicks, right? I think Nebhard's going to be a better scorer, but Josh with the rebound and passing is going to be the guy's going to be important, especially in the fourth quarter of games. Limited second chance opportunities, something that we kind of struggled with against the Pacers last year in the playoffs before everybody got hurt. So I think that Josh going to be uber important in that regards. The bench is going to be important as well too, man. Miles McBride, Mitchell Robinson, obviously with the 2 big lineups, is going to be important to go up against their guys. Even though Thomas Bryant, I don't really rank him compared to, say, Mitchell Robinson. But then you have guys like Ben Shepherd, and then Ben Mathurin is a guy we did not see last year, who give the Knicks a lot of issues offensively. Even though I don't think the Pacers like him, they don't want to pay him. That's what it is. Not they don't like him, they just don't want to pay him. But he's another guy. But please give me your key matches, man. How do you feel about who's matching with who, or whose value versus the other team's value in terms of individual players? How do you feel about key matchups going into this series?
Definitely OG versus Pascal. I think when Pascal had a stretch of 4 games where he wasn't really playing that well, struggling to get 20 points. And he closed out the Cavs series pretty strong, scoring 20 plus in both of those last 2 games. But I just expect OG Anunoby to have a better idea of how to defend him, given that you've gone against him last year. I think he's going to have a strong idea of how to play him. And honestly, OG did well. We lost more in part because he got injured. But I'm looking forward to that matchup. I'm looking forward to Karl-Anthony Towns versus Miles Turner. I want to see Towns being very aggressive and forcing them to put 2 on the ball against him. So that way he can either kick it to the open man or, use that opportunity to just get to the line. Right, and get him in the foul trouble. If you can get Pascal in the foul trouble, if you can get Miles Turner in the foul trouble, get him 3 fouls before the second half, then that's a good sign right there. Because, and the thing about it is their bench, right? I'm looking forward to when they put their bench in. How are we going to capitalize on their bench. How can we force them to play their bench less minutes? I looked at their last game when they played the Cavs. The bench played 10 minutes in that elimination game. The rest of their guys played around 33 minutes. The lowest was 33 minutes, and that was Miles Turner, right? So they try to keep Miles Turner with less minutes, but we need to try to force him off the floor by getting him into foul trouble. JB too. JB has to turn it up. JB was kind of chill in that Celtics series. I feel like he was doing what he was supposed to do in terms of building that foundation and truly trusting his teammates and realizing he doesn't need to do what he did last year. But I want to see him turn it up on his Pacers team, right? The more he can get Nembhard and Neesmith into foul trouble, the more these guys are off the floor and the less shots they're hitting. You got a guy like Nembhard shooting 50% on threes. You got to get him off the floor. If he's coming into the series shooting like that, one, Mikal has to use his length to contest the shots, and I think that's going to be a key there. You saw Mikal show up huge defensively against Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and so I think he's going to be able to really use his length to put pressure on Neesmith and Nembhard. Just put a body on him. If you switch on to him, make him feel you. Use your length. You got a 7-foot wingspan. You put your arms up. These guys are not shooting over you. Get them arms up. And that's what I want to see, man. Just play on physical. But yeah, Towns, I need to see him going crazy. Back him down. Take it in the paint. Get to the line. Keep getting to the line. If you got the three, shoot that. Mitchell Robinson get that read. Josh Hart get that read. Deuce, play the passing lanes. Put a body on them. Come in, bring in that intensity that you bring. I need Shaman in the rotation this series too, because again, they got a bench on them. And I think Thibs is going to go deep in the rotation because Josh Hart said, "Hey, if guys are tired, go to Thibs, let them know, hey, I need a sub." He said that's going to be their approach this series. So I would expect that with all the running they're going to be doing, you probably going to need to go ahead and say, hey, we're going to roll with Shaman. And because Shaman actually played well against them in the regular season.
That's the only thing, man. I just can't trust Shaman yet, bro.
But bro, they have smaller guards, so it's like, but I gotta run downstairs and grab this food.
All right, man.
All right.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Shamit. I don't know how much he's gonna be playing in this series. Honestly, if he doesn't play, I'm fine with that. Play somebody else. Stagger a minute somehow. Find a way to do without Shamit, whatever his damn name is. No offense, but I'm good on Lynn Shamit. But yeah, man, like I have all the statistics here to go through, man, but we talked about most of the stuff. Like I said, neutralize Indy's front court, pass down, turn like the screen and move and shift away, roll constantly. Like I said, third in roll man frequency in the playoffs, 7.5% of possession, 7 in points per game, at 8.8 points per game, but 10th in terms of pick and roll ball handler frequency, 15.4% of the time. So again, they value utilizing their big man, protect against out of bound plays and ATOs, like I mentioned. We talked about McConnell. We talked limit the fast breaks, transition points. First in fast transition points in terms of being in the 100 percentile. Second in points per game. No, they're not 100 percentile, but they're first in the overall percentile. Excuse me. I think they were 100%. I might be wrong, but they're number one in terms of just overall rankings for transition plays to the playoffs. Second in points per game. First in points per possession. Third in effective field goal percentage. Fifth in frequency at 16.7% of the plays. We talk about Cat, talk about everything, man. Highlight everything. I try to make this as exhaustive as possible. We talked about the rebounding. We talked about Cat. We talked about Jared Allen putting up a stinker, allowing Siakam to shoot 25% from the field overall, 2 for 3 from 3. But it's mostly on Miles Turner. Siakam, you only spent 10 minutes on him. On Miles Turner, he was on him for like 25 minutes. Miles Turner shot 10 for 21 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3. Don't be a Jared Allen. Don't be an absolute bum against Miles Turner. Don't get me wrong. Miles Turner is a solid player. But a guy who should kill this series, no. TJ McConnell, gotta have your best point of attack defender. Just stop the dribble drive penetration because you get that little baby mid-range jumper. They have to account for that. If you overplay that, he's gonna hit a roll to the basket. Expect a lot of off-ball man movement by the Pacers to get guys open underneath. They're not going to just live out a three-point line. They're not the Celtics who are going to live and die by the three. They're going to do everything, especially living through their bigs. They're going to live through the point guards, but live through the bigs, right? They live through the bigs. They live through TJ McConnell. They use Halliburton as they're going to try to utilize him at times as a table setter. If that doesn't work, they're going to use him more as an off guard next to McConnell. Then also caring or making sure that Matthew doesn't kill you off the bench. A guy who's actually had some good numbers against the Knicks. I got to look up his career numbers, but I'm pretty sure he's had some really good numbers against the Knicks. Every time we see him, he's putting up something against the Knicks and beating us a few times as well, too, with just his offense. So, look, man, predictions for me, man, I actually see the Knicks in 6, possibly 5. But I think this should be a dominant series for the Knicks. I don't see us struggling, just given the fact that guys will be healthy, that we were able to almost beat this team last year without McCaw, without a Cat. But to me, man, this is a series for Cat. When I talk about just in terms of what he could do on the floor, there's no one to really stop him out there. They're going to have taggers. They're going to have help defense. And that opens up the floor for everybody. So when they want to play 1v1 against Cat, they can suffer as long as Cat is aggressive. Playing up against Drew Holiday and KP, even though you should be, I don't say dominating. Drew Holiday's a strong player, but he had issues post up against a guy like Drew Holiday, getting positioning. Guys like Miles Turner, good defender, but I felt like his defense has been waning over the last few years in terms of his defense at the rim. I think he's still a good help defender. Pascal is better as a help defender. Over defender, man, he's playing as a wing. He's an offensive guy at this point. I don't think Pascal's a guy that's going to dominate you defensively or Cat defensively. So they really don't have an option for Cat outside of doubling and trying to get the ball off his hands. So that opens up the floor for guys like Josh, who took a big leap up against the Celtics, being more aggressive, shooting the threes, attacking the basket when need be. Obviously, Brunson's gonna kill, but guys like McCaw as well too. Nothing too, man. The Knicks have to find a way to have a secondary ball handler, especially early in games. They're going to play full court against Brunson. They did it last year. They did it in this year versus Donovan Mitchell. Having Brunson going up freaking all that feed, all that freaking space up the floor and having to struggle. Not even struggle, but just having to bring it up against a Belmont, bring it up against a Tyrese Halliburton, bring it up against a McCall. Someone's just trying to hound him, even if it's not stealing, because I look up steals and they're not. I think they're like last second. They're not ranked high in steals, but they're gonna try to put as much pressure to slow down, put as much force on Brunson to slow him down, to make him as tight as possible. So having another ball handler, a guy like Mikal Bridges definitely helps. And Mikal Bridges we saw in the fourth quarter of games against the Celtics, game 4. In game 3, game 4, game 2, game 4, game 3, especially game 4, where he had that 10 points in the fourth quarter. You're going to need and he was even scoring when Brunson was in the game, or he's at least getting fed the ball when Brunson's game. Going to need that to happen as well, too. Now, they typically like to have Josh Hart bring up the ball, but I want to see actions away from Brunson. Utilize Brunson as more of an off-ball guy, so whoever is on him, especially if it's Naismith, run him through the ringer. Run him through the ringer. Abuse him. In terms of off the ball, pin down screens, when they're trying to have your man Brunson run floppy plays, run that. Bro, abuse Naismith and make him go through the ringer just like they try to make Mikal Bridges go through it. So, I'm looking at this Knicks in 5. I think it's going to be a dominant series. I don't look past the Pacers. Good team. They don't have the fundamentals in terms of rebounding. They don't have the defense. No. I just don't see the Pacers being the Knicks, especially with the squad we have now. Mitchell Robinson and Cat, they don't play bad defense off the screens. They keep playing like they did versus the Pistons and the Celtics in terms of playing up on the screens and really disrupting, really trying to disrupt the Pacers. This should be a very winnable series for the Knicks. Very winnable series. We talk about rah. I just feel like the Knicks have way too many horses. We've seen how Halliburton plays. He doesn't like attacking off the dribble with the left. Now he's shooting mid-range shots, which makes me sick to my stomach. I saw a few of them. He had one. He was floating away. I'm like, come on, son. Halliburton's hitting mid-range shots, bro. That's not your game, man. But a guy you still have to atone for. But I seen it. Game 1, Game 2, your man Halliburton's soul was getting taken out of his body because he couldn't get any shots against the Knicks. Go watch Game 1 and Game 2 last year in the playoffs. Especially Game 1. I was at Game 1. Halliburton looked like a shell of himself until McConnell saved his ass. Go back and watch. If I'm lying, go back and watch. So this is a very winnable series for the Knicks. But guys, let me know your thoughts, your comments, man, on this preview. How do you feel about the Knicks versus Pacers coming up? Again, I'm gonna try to be at Legends on Friday, so please check us out there. I'm not doing a live watch along because the internet service is gonna be trash. I tried that before; it doesn't work. But let me know your thoughts, your comments, guys. Appreciate you what you guys have in terms of predictions. Where do you guys see the Knicks coming out in this series? Who do you think are the key factors, or what do you think are the key factors? Who do you think are the key matchups in this series? Is this Tom Thibodeau's? Well, Tom Thibodeau bought himself time in terms of he won the ECF against the Celtics. Regardless if Tatum was hurt, he won himself some time. So I think he's good. But again, getting us to the finals will be another step up in Tom Thibodeau's career, his resume as one of the best coaches in the league. I think he's a top 3, top 4 coach in the league. I don't care what no one says. I've seen what I've seen, and I did watch that interview with Kat in terms of them running those adjustments and having them play against the Celtics in a way where they were observing what the Celtics were doing. And you saw the adjustment. We talked about the adjustments here in the show. We talked about the adjustments in film review, right? We seen how the Knicks adjusted, right? And obviously, Game 6, guys, Tatum being out and just being at home, I think they were always gunning for them to win at home. The Knicks, that is. But they did beat them on their own, like they on the strength of what they were, what they are as a team, right? So again, like Darcy said, more cohesion, getting this team together, to play together, to have that unity, I'm gonna say unity, that synergy. Find out when guys are in their spots, when they're in their flow of games, feeling on the ball, making them feel like a part of the offense. Even we know that at the end of the day, JB is the end all be all when we need a closeout game. So, guys, let me know your thoughts, your comments on the series, man. It's your boy Gmo Legion Knicks. I appreciate you, man. Peace, salute, God bless, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We out. Peace, 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 peace.